Nice. Welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Zane.
My name is Noah.
And mine is Imad.
We're the Holistic Kids, here to educate us kids from the inside out. With chronic disease on the rise, we know that more than amount of medications also go up. More than 131 million people and 66% of all adults in the United States use prescription drugs.
An American born in 2019 will spend a larger share of their lifetime taking prescription drugs than being married or receiving an education, according to the new research at Penn State.
That is a lot of kids on meds, but no one is getting healthier. What are we going to do?
Well, we have the perfect person here with us today. Dr. Farooqi, do we say it right? Farooqi?
You got it.
Or PharmD, started her training in nutrition in Oxford, England, with a focus on the maternal nutrition. After completing her studies in England, she pursued a Doctorate of Pharmacy with University of Rhode Island, followed by a fellowship in Clinical Toxicology with the University of New Mexico.
Combined with more than 15 years of client interaction experience, Mariya's additional knowledge in functional medicine comes from attending seminars and conferences. She has applied several evidence-based principles to achieve wanted outcomes. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure.
It's our pleasure. How does someone that works all day long with meds going into the nutrition and fitness? We would love to know your story.
Great. I worked as a conventional pharmacist, guys, like normal pharmacists that you would see at CVS or Walgreens. And I would just like go into work, go and give people medications, and I would just clock out and come home, right? I didn't think much of it. But one day I started seeing those same customers coming back again and again for the same conditions, for the same ailments, and filling the same prescriptions, but they were not getting better, right? And as I started seeing them and hearing their stories, listening to the stories, I came to understanding that these medicines are not really helping them because we are not talking to them about what else they can be doing besides taking these medications, right? And when I ask them these questions, what has the doctor told you? They'd be like, no, he just wrote this prescription to me and told me to take this medicine and I'll be okay. Well, you've been taking this for 2 years. Are you okay? Not really. You have to go to another specialist. So, it makes you think like something's wrong. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so as part of my pharmacy training, I always had this like a flow chart in my head, high cholesterol, lifestyle modifications. If it fails, go to a statin, which is a medication to lower cholesterol. But we were never told what's this lifestyle modification part, this box. What does that mean, right? If you'd come to me and say, hey, I'm having headaches. So I say, well, change your lifestyle. You say, what does that mean? You guys are educated, but to an average 11-year-old, if you say, Mama, I have a headache. And I say, well, go and change your lifestyle. What does it mean, right? Like, what does that mean? What do I do? So, but for headaches, right? Maybe, like drink water.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Have you drank water? How much did you drink? Right?
No.
Coke doesn't count as water, right? I know to some people like Coke and soda, orange pop counts as like liquid, but it doesn't, right? Have you slept? Yeah. Have you slept? What's your sleep? Are you sleeping on time? Are you staring at the screen at the laptop like way into the night, right? So these are all things that can perpetuate a headache. So I started questioning people, right? So I see you going for the steroid again for this rash you're developing. Have you figured out a trigger? And I started making people think. And I started to think as well, what could be a rash because of, right? Or could it be because of something I ate, which is not settling into my stomach and it is showing as a rash, okay? And then I had my own personal health journey, guys. I was not sleeping well at night. I was gaining weight and I was cranky. So, sometimes like when parents come home, they're like, upset and cranky with the kids, and you're like, what's happening? I was like that with my kids. I was like cranky mommy, okay, which is not pleasant place to be, to have a cranky mommy, right? And then I went to the doctor, and I didn't make the connection with all those three things happening to me. It was funny. I just went to the doctor for like weight gain. And the doctor said, oh, well, just, exercise and eat well. Well, okay, I know I exercise. I think I exercise. I think I eat pretty good. So I said, okay, well, she told me to eat well, just like generic eat well prescription. And I went home. Then I realized, hey, maybe I should check if I'm really eating well or I'm eating too much sugar, because I know sugar can affect your mood. So I had one of those continuous glucose monitoring devices installed into my arm. And I was eating the way I would like to eat, or I thought I was eating well. And I realized my glucose monitor was shouting at me majority of the time, was telling me I was having too much sugar. Okay. And like some foods, they're like considered healthy snacks, right? Like a kind bar, like a rice cracker, right? But my body was taking them as like heavy processed sugar. And I was eventually putting on weight, which was affecting my mood, which was affecting my sleep, right? But if I was not a pharmacist and if I didn't have that training, I would have gone to another doctor for sleep, another doctor for weight gain, and another doctor for my mental health. Do you understand? But it was all down to my own sugar intake, which I had to like consider and look at. So that was my own personal journey together, being a pharmacist and seeing people out there taking medicine after medicine. Then they take medicine for another side effect that they're having from medicine. So what we call polypharmacy, where the amount of medications increase as we age, and we don't want to do that, right? If you need to take medicines, sometimes they do work, sometimes you need them in an emergency and they could be valuable, and you take them for a short period and you're done, right? But medicines should not be forever. It should not be a crutch for our life or lifestyle.
Wow, that is amazing how you went from a pharmacist to someone who didn't really care about what was happening to someone who now observes really, really well on the issues of people.
You have a very inspiring story. Thank you for sharing
Very
that with
inspiring.
us.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like a lot of the patients that you saw as a pharmacist had addictions to drugs. How can we avoid addictions? And if we do have addictions, how can we detoxify ourselves?
Good question. So I worked as a clinical toxicologist at the University of New Mexico, where I saw people who either overdosed on medications. So, they just took too many because they thought it might work better, or they were forgetful, or they wanted to harm themselves, or it was a cry for help, right? And I saw people also being reliant on medicines too much. So that they became, like you said, addicted to it, right? And there's a lot of a big mental health component in it. So we have to be aware that these people are doing it because they are not feeling well and they think by taking more of these, they will get better. So you have to address the mental health component. And the way to detoxify from these medications, there are many ways we can do that. But one of the key ways is to help them understand how these medications work. Okay, when we take medicines orally, the first place it goes to, of course, it goes down your food pipe, right? It gets absorbed into your bloodstream and goes to the liver first. And our liver is considered an organ that detoxifies everything we eat, right? It's like a very friendly organ that is ready to do everything we want it to do. But sometimes it can get overworked, right? So I like to usually talk to kids about Tylenol, right? Have you heard of Tylenol?
Yes.
Acetaminophen, right? And have you seen like people friends take Tylenol? Maybe somebody, right? And when you go to
somebody.
yeah, when you go to drugstore, it's like easily available to grab and take Tylenol. Yes, it works. The medicine does work, but the medicine also can harm the liver in the long run. And it also depletes a very vital antioxidant that we make naturally. Okay. That basically, any cell that is going bad, or there's an anomaly, or there's a mutating cell line, that antioxidant basically removes it, right? When we take Tylenol too much, that antioxidant is removed, so gives the body less ability to fight off, danger, basically. So I tell people who take Tylenol too much to take a certain supplement called NAC. I tell people how to come off the medication, how to find other strategies to help with pain, and that includes like chronic pain, right? So we don't have pain receptors in our body. So most people find this very interesting. We don't have a receptor that is labeled as pain receptor. We have a receptor that feels pressure. We have a receptor that has chemical sensitivity. So when those receptors get affected, we see them as pain, right? So I tell people the way to manage pain is through a number of holistic approaches, not just one. Because Tylenol and other pain medications seem easy because it's one pill, you grab that one pill and done, right? But for some people, employing all the holistic approaches seems hard. But once you adopt a lifestyle, right, or mindset that allows those modalities to come in, it becomes easier. So I'm talking about acupuncture, okay, yoga, massage, essential oils to bring some calmness and reduce anxiety around pain. Can you think of other things? I'm taking curcumin, right? Curcumin is found in turmeric. Do you guys eat turmeric?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So curcumin, if you eat on a daily basis, right, builds our anti-inflammation system. So if we have a pain that is developing, right, it basically dampens it before it becomes a full-blown pain and you're reaching out for your Tylenol or Advil or ibuprofen. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So I know your mom cooks with lots of foods that contain anti-inflammatory ingredients, right? Curcumin, resveratrol, which is found in red grape seeds. Studies have shown that it is as good as Advil or ibuprofen. Can you believe that? Especially for arthritis, right? I know when my grandma was getting old, she would complain a lot of knee pain, right? Because they're getting older, you can develop osteoarthritis, and so your joints get weaker for several reasons. And so she would reach for ibuprofen. So I wish I was well versed back then to tell her, hey, grandma, can you take curcumin instead? Because ibuprofen has side effects. Like, why do we want to avoid medicine? What's wrong with medicine, right? Because they have side effects. And to deal with that side effect, you have to take another medicine. So can I give you a common example?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take Advil, which is ibuprofen for, say, shoulder pain. Okay, I have this like nagging shoulder pain, and I don't want to go to the acupuncturist, or I don't want to do yoga. I'm too busy, right? I'm going to take ibuprofen. It takes the pain away. I'm just going to go about my day. You take ibuprofen on a daily basis, stomach pain happens, right? Some people develops into diarrhea, and you have this like burning sensation. And most people do not link ibuprofen to heartburn, all right, or diarrhea. So they go to a gastroenterologist or a primary care doctor and they say, I've got heartburn. So the primary care doctor or the gastroenterologist will prescribe them something like Prilosec, like omeprazole or esomeprazole. There's so many out them, like Nexium, Prilosec. Those are the common ones we hear. Okay, so it takes away the heartburn. But those medicines deplete nutrients in our body. Like they deplete vitamin B because they lower the stomach acid, and we need stomach acid to digest food. Okay, so when stomach acid is lowered, different random kinds of bacteria are produced, and those different random kinds of bacteria are unable to produce vitamin B. So if you have less vitamin B, guys, guess what happens? You have low energy. So from your shoulder pain, now you got low energy. Who would have thunk that is because of my constant use of ibuprofen? That's why you need a pharmacist in your life. So I would recommend to anyone who's listening, go and get to know your local pharmacist. Ask them questions. If they don't know, give them the grace and tell them, can you please find out information for me? Can you let me know how does this affect my gut health? What are the other side effects? And I can tell you now, any medicine that affects your gut, like whether it's diarrhea, constipation, or nausea, just assume it affects the bacteria in your stomach. And if it affects the bacteria in your stomach, that means you got a host of issues happening down the line. You might develop like really bad constipation, and for women who don't go to the bathroom daily, that can be an issue because they're building up their hormones. Okay, you could feel bloated. I don't know if you've had constipation, how you feel. Like you feel awful, right? And so generally feel awful. So I like to tell people one medicine leads to the other medicine, and that leads to another medicine. So just be careful how you start. Say that again.
All the medicine leads up to pain.
Yeah. Well, we are privileged in a way because we have access to resources and education, and people like you and me have the responsibility of sharing this to others, right? Because even if you have one little tiny bit of beneficial information, what are we supposed to do with it? Share it, right? So
Yes. If we share it, then more people can get that information, and they share it, and it starts like an entire chain. So share this information. Like you're sharing this information with us. Now we're sharing this information with everyone else, and hopefully they'll share this information.
yeah,
Someone else. They'll share with others. Someone else.
So it's like a chain.
yep,
Will like it.
yep. I agree.
So earlier you mentioned how there are a lot of different ways to deal with, I think it was addiction, right? So sometimes, like if my brother's on his phone too much or we're doing something too excessively, my dad will say to take it away. So is that an effective strategy?
You have to find distractions, right? So what else can I be distracted by? I would say that majority, it's not just kids, adults too, are addicted to social media and scrolling, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever platforms we have, right? So it's not a kid problem, it also becoming an adult problem, right? So the one way that I found to counteract that is to distract yourself with other things that you enjoy. Because every time you do this social media scrolling, you're getting a dopamine hit, like the enjoyment or the excitement of moving on to the next. I don't know, some kids like YouTube shorts, right? Like quick 30-second video of something random and then move on to the next, right?
And then adults, they like Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels, and then lots of teens are obsessed with like TikTok.
Yeah. So spending time doing other things that you also enjoy. I'm sure if you had time to explore other hobbies the children did, they would enjoy something because there's so much out there that we can do, right? There, like my daughter, she enjoys watercoloring. She enjoys playing violin. She enjoys reading anime. So we have to find kids other distractions that can take away from things that give them the instant gratitude.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Really cool. So lots of doctors aren't taught like this approach about like getting to the root cause. So my mom and dad are both doctors, and we're not taught a single class of nutrition or lifestyle, and we're taught mostly just to give meds to the problem. But why is this a concern? That one problem is one medication. Like, if you have this problem, then just take this medication. And now
Because it's a band-aid approach, right? Right? It's like it's a quick fix to a solution. But we don't want quick fixes because that problem can trigger another problem, right? So it's a common analogy. Maybe you heard of it before. If you went on vacation, came back home, and you notice your kitchen is flooded, right? And you notice the tap water is running in your kitchen sink, right? And the stopper is like in the sinkhole. So, and there's water all over on the kitchen floor. So what are you going to do? Mop the kitchen floor? Or are you going to stop? Or are you going to turn off the faucet?
So
Turn off the faucet.
Turn off the faucet. But unfortunately, with our quick fix approach, we are just like keep on mopping and we're not looking a little bit further upstream and saying, oh, there's the faucet is on, let me switch it off, right? So that's what medications do. They are a quick fix. Now, there are some medications that we need, like insulin. Okay, like they're life saving. If people with diabetes don't take insulin, they can die, right? And so I'm not going to like make all medicines look evil, but I think our pharmacy in America can be a lot smaller with just essential medicines that we need. Our pharmacy doesn't need to have all these random drugs that we don't really need. We can support our lifestyle either through food as medicine, right? How to use food as medical entities. How can we look as food as things that can heal our body, right? If not heal, maintain the health of our body, right? So we need to start switching and looking at nutraceuticals, foods that have actual medicinal value, like honey, right? Like curcumin has medicinal value, like ginger has medicinal value, garlic has medicinal value, right? Berries have medicinal value. How can we transform the ancient wisdom that we had? We did have this wisdom earlier on. Unfortunately, with Western conventional medicine, we've kind of like run away from it. But if we went to our forefathers, they knew how to use herbs, they knew how to use plants to cure headache, right? In the Indian subcontinents, the pharmacists were called hakims, basically meaning the people with wisdom. To me, that's like mind blowing to me. And we need to employ the wisdom of our ancestral medicine also, right? Like in certain Middle Eastern culture, olive oil is considered remedy for everything. You got a headache, rub olive oil on your head. You got a shoulder pain, rub olive oil on your shoulder. You're not feeling good, drink some olive oil. We don't do that anymore, right? Olive oil has hundreds of polyphenols. It's like polyphenols means like it basically kills any mutant cell lines. It takes away any cancerous cell lines that we may have. It reduces inflammation in our brain, which basically makes our mental health better, reduces inflammation anywhere in our body, makes us more, gives us a better fat composition, body fat composition. So, I mean, I don't know if you eat olive oil, but I like to eat olive oil every day.
Yes, we use olive oil to cook and everything. Olive oil, avocado oil.
My skin moisturizer is olive oil. I don't use fancy products. I just use olive oil for my skin moisturizer because I love it.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's amazing how you talked about, because we had it, it's just that we changed it because people are like, oh, we need a more modern approach. But the old already worked. The more ancient approach already worked. So
We just
I don't
changed them.
understand why we changed it up. So
It wasn't making money, right? We humans can get greedy and we need to make money from this magical cure that I have discovered, and I need to make money because people need to have this. And we had big pharmaceutical companies that grew up and sprouted from everywhere, and they started designing these $1 million pills, and they sponsored studies that showed it worked and people believed them. We believe on authorities easily, right? If I come here on the news and say, guess what? Eating red grapes will make you live forever. And I say it with a straight face, and I'm a Dr. Farooqi. And and say you don't know any better. You'll say, oh, okay, eating red grapes will make me live forever. You know that nothing is going to make you live forever, right? So we always have to question the validity of anyone's claims. Always question, because we don't want to be selling what they call snake oil, right? The cure-all pill. We want to base our recommendations on valid, evidence-based, supported science, right? So that's what your mom and I do. We tell people, look, this has been proven. Studies are showing this, and there's a biological plausibility. It makes sense that having a wholesome nutritional diet is going to help you age more gracefully, because we are all going to die one day. But before I die, I would like to be enjoying the world, right? I like to go hiking the day I die. I'm sure you all feel that way. Like, you want to enjoy life. I don't want to be like bedridden or doing, I don't know, things that doesn't allow me to enjoy life. I want to enjoy life as long as I live. And the way I will enjoy life is by taking care of myself when I'm healthy. So what you do is so important, guys, because you are living healthy while you can,
Mm-hmm.
while you are young, right? Because it's very hard to make a chicken soup when you're sick. How much energy do you have when you have sex? Say you come out down with a cold. You don't feel like doing anything, right? Do you
Yeah.
think you're gonna get up and make a chicken soup or help your mom make chicken soup? You're like, nah, I'll just drink water and go to bed, right?
Mhm.
So I tell people, take care of your health when you're feeling really good about yourself, right? And
Mhm.
so, and that's a Islamic mindset as well, to take care of yourself when you're feeling well, if you youth when you're feeling well, and take care of your physical self, your mental health, your spiritual self, and
They're all important.
God willing, as when your body is sick, it knows what to do. It's like I got your back, man. Don't worry. You fed me well. I've got enough polyphenols, antioxidants. I'm going to take care of your stomach pain right now. And before you know, you an hour later, you're up and running, ready to go.
Awesome. So, personally, compared to these guys, I haven't been on a lot of podcasts myself, but on every single podcast I've been on, each doctor that we talked to, they linked body problems to screens. So, what are some links that screens have on, like,
Screen time, you mean?
so
Yeah,
yeah, so
screen
like any
time.
screen, like the one we're using right now to talk.
Okay, so screen time. So the many things screen time affects many things. Firstly, it's our posture, right? So what am I doing when I'm staring at a screen?
Bending your neck down.
Head hunching over, right? So my cervical spine is affected, right? I'm overstretching my shoulder blades, the muscles on my shoulder blades, right? So they're overstretched, they have less strength in them, right? So I'm also a yoga instructor. So I tell people how to strengthen their back muscles, right? And the way we make our back muscles weaker is we overstretch them with that hunching, okay? It affects our posture. It affects our mental health. When you're constantly looking for that dopamine hit, right? So with your friends, with your relationships, you're also looking for that dopamine hit,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want your friend to give you some really good, exciting jokes, otherwise he's not your friend. Okay, you want to be able to do fun things with your friends all the time, otherwise he's not your friend. You can't sit with him in peace and quiet. Like if he's sitting next to you reading a book, you're like, okay, this is boring. I need my friend to be doing something fun for me.
Yeah.
It affects your sleep, because the more you stare at the screen, the less melatonin is produced in our body. So, melatonin is a hormone that helps us sleep, and it increases at night as nighttime approaches. Okay. So, the more you stare at your screens, and when do most kids stare at the screens?
School.
After school, which is when evening is approaching, right?
Mhm.
Which means that you are not really allowing the melatonin to kick in. In fact, the hormone that keeps you up is still staying up because it's continuously staring at that blue light. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yes.
affects your sleep, affects your mental health, affects your relationships, affect your postures.
Wow.
Mhm.
Very informative. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So where can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Thank you.
Amazing.
So I'm quite active on my Instagrams, Dr. Mariya Farooqi, and I find that that mode of social media works best for me. I haven't really mastered Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well as Dr. Mariya Farooqi. I offer my consult services at farm2table.life, and you are welcome to book an appointment. Because of licensing restrictions, I can only see clients from New York, New Mexico, and Texas. But I have other wonderful coworkers who will be happy to help for people outside those states.
Awesome.
So now let's recap Dr. Farooqi's key points.
Sometimes you need meds in an emergency, but medicines do not be forever. Medicine are just quick fixes.
And sometimes you don't need that quick fix. You can deal with it yourself.
Medications have side effects, and then most of the time, doctors give you more medications to treat side effects. Sometimes side effects are worse than what you're actually dealing with.
Some medications like Tylenol can actually damage the liver, and it removes antioxidants called glutathione.
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 Motrin and ibuprofen can cause stomach pain or heartburn, and then the doctor will prescribe an antacid that will lower the stomach's acid, making us sicker, and low vitamin B that can cause fatigue.
Get to know your local pharmacist. Ask them the side effects. If the meds affect the gut, then it affects the microbiome. That can cause more problems.
Find other strategies for chronic pain, like yoga, essential oils, the circum, which is found in turmeric, resveratrol that is found in grapes, and that can help to lower inflammation to improve the pain.
Look at the ancestral medicines. There are so many tools in our toolbox to help our symptoms.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Farooqi. That was amazing.
Amazing.
We are so thankful for your wisdom and time today.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zansari.
My name is Noah.
And I'm Mad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom Tea, and look up for my mom's book. She is working on her 8th book. We are working on our book too. So there's so much fun things coming up. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthier future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show, where kids are empowering kids. Thank you, everyone.
Also, make sure to follow Dr. Farooqi on her Instagram and her Facebook.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.